I want to be filthy rich, and apparently I've been told as a Christian it's wrong to say that, but I'm going to give you 4 godly reasons why it just makes sense. And the first reason why, starting with number 1, is there is no argument that with more money you could help more people, right? And I know I hear it already, but Ryan, you can help people without money. You can do that now. Yes, I understand, but you're not listening. You could help more people if you had more money. It is not exclusive to people with money, but more money equals more resources. And a lot of people say, well, the money is the root of all evil. You're lying. It doesn't say that in the Bible anywhere. It actually says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And so what that comes down to is really just your intentions. What is the purpose you want money? Because if you love money, then yes, money is the root of all kinds of evil. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and that won't go anywhere good. If your intention is to acquire resources to help more people, then yes, guess what? That is a godly reason to want to be filthy rich. And I know you don't need to be filthy rich, and that's not the point of this video, but you know what? It does help. And because the second reason, that was a pretty short first one, but the second reason is I think it's kind of interesting. Nobody wants to listen to you if you're broke. And I found that it literally doesn't matter what it is. It could be about gardening. Nobody wants to listen to you if you're broke. The more money you have, even if it's about gardening, more people are going to listen to you. And it could be about sports. Why do we listen to rich people in sports? They don't know what they're doing, but they have money, right? Celebrities don't know what they're doing with their fitness or their health. It looks like they do because they're in front of our face, but because they have money, so it must mean what they're doing is working. And I don't say this as this is how it should be. I say it because it is the way that it is. And even in scriptures it says, so even though wisdom is better than strength, those who are wise will be despised if they are poor. What they say will not be appreciated for long. If you don't believe me, that's in Ecclesiastes 9 verse 16. Nobody wants to listen to you if you're broke. Your words, as good as they may be, will last longer if you had money to back it up. Because whether it should be like this or not, it is the way that it is. Money makes the world go round today. We live in an economical world, and people believe, subconsciously or consciously, they believe that if you have money, what you are doing, something must be working, right? And so it's not that they won't listen to you if you don't have money. It's that they will listen to you more and they'll take you more serious if you do have money. Some people are very flashy. Even Solomon, the Queen of Sheba says before she heard him speak was impressed by not even just his wisdom, but by his clothing, by the food that they ate, by the utensils they were using. He was a very flashy man, so I'm not saying it's bad to be flashy, but nobody listens to you if you're broke. He had an entire kingdom to back it up. And people perceive information and advice differently. That's regardless of money or not. Trust has a lot to do with that, and money conveys credibility. Whatever you did something right. You must have done it if you have all this money. That's why it helps. But you can make up for a lack of money with a strong reputation and a good credit and just good credibility, because those two things will go before you and before anybody sees your money or sees whatever. And people don't need to see your money, but they will hear of those things. They will see those things before they know those things. However, again, the video is not whether you want to be rich or poor or have a good reputation or money. I would just rather have those two things and money, right? Because with wisdom is even better than strength. But those who are poor will be despised those who are wise will be despised if they're poor. What they say will not be appreciated for long, right? Now the third one is actually very simple. We have a biblical obligation to use the resources God has given us and to use them well. And that will look differently for everybody. Not everybody is called to live the lavish lifestyle of Solomon. I don't even want to live that life. I want to be rich, but I don't need fancy clothes. I don't need all these different things to feel good or to help more people. I don't need to feel good by having all these different material items. That's just not the person that I am, but there's also nothing wrong with that. what it comes down to is, how are you using the resources? Because God gave you resources, whether you like the resources he gave you or not. He did give you resources. You're watching this video. You must have internet. You must have a phone. You must have some kind of income if you're an adult. Hopefully you would. But it's not about what he's given you. It's about what you do with it. In Matthew 25, the parable of the talents, the first two servants who were given a portion of the master's wealth, the master said to both of them, because what they did, the master said to them, well done, good and faithful servant. Because you were faithful in handling this small amount, I will give you many more. Let's go celebrate. It was a good thing. It wasn't just an optional thing. It was a good thing. They took what he gave them and turned it into more. They actually doubled the wealth that he left them with. And before I move to the third servant, Jesus introduces this parable as an illustration of the kingdom of heaven. So if you think we're going to be poor in heaven, I mean, you might want to think again. The streets of heaven are going to be lined with gold. That doesn't mean, again, that you need to be filthy rich, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't exclude those things, right? It's just the way that everybody's got their own calling. But, however, the third servant, this servant took the portion of wealth that the master gave him, and he buried it into the ground and did nothing with it because he didn't want to lose it. Ironically, because he did that, he said, here's master, here's the wealth you gave me. I'll give you 100% of it back. That sounds, some of you, that sounds like a good thing, right? You didn't lose anything. But to some people, like the first two servants, they turned it into more. And so to this guy, he said, you wicked and lazy servant, because you did nothing with this that I gave you, I'm going to take it away and give it to the first guy who doubled his wealth. And so he called him wicked and lazy. Those are strong words. It's not about being extremely wealthy. It's about handling what he's given you. So we have a biblical obligation to do something with what he's given us. And that could be your time. That could be your resources, including money. It could also just be your information, your wisdom, and who you share it with. Share it with a lot of people, right? Use what he's given you and use it well. That's what it's about. Rich or poor, use it well. However, I want to be filthy rich because I want to use it well. I work with people who have all this money and they don't know what to do with it. And so they actually end up living in worse positions than people who are making next to nothing, or what it seems like next to nothing. Compared to them, some people are making millions of dollars, still living paycheck to paycheck, because just because they have money doesn't mean they're using their resources well. They could, and they could help a lot more people because they have that money, but they're not doing it because they don't know how to handle what they have. The point is, rich or poor, God wants you to use what you have and to use it well. And the fourth point is that generational wealth is not just something far away that it's unachievable. Again, it's something magical and mystical that we hear about it, but it's not actually real. It is real, and I've seen it, not by myself. That's what we're working towards. I've seen it in other families and good people who are doing a lot of good things. And the reason why I bring this up is because generational wealth, yet again, is not about money. Just like how being filthy rich is not about money. It's about your ability to take care of your family even after you're gone. One of our mentors here and one of the founders of our company, he's very open about what he does and what he does with his money. He has about 30 generations covered financially. And yes, it's up to them to use it well after him, but he's even set those precautions in place. They can't just take money out and use it however they want. They've got to go through a system so that it's used well. So he's done very, very well. In Proverbs 13, generational wealth is a good thing. And I should have this one memorized. Actually, no, I do. Good people leave an inheritance to their children's children, but the sinner's wealth passes to the godly. Which is, it's quite literally talking about generational wealth. And this includes money. It includes your information and the wisdom that you pass down. Money helps. Yet again, money helps. And even in that verse that's talking about generational wealth, it's saying good people leave an inheritance, right? Well, that one's pretty clear. But the sinner's wealth passes to the godly. That one's a little bit less clear. What does that mean? The sinner's wealth passes to the godly. If we look at that verse, and we also look at the parable of the talents, and then we also look at Ecclesiastes chapter 2, I believe 2 verse 26. It says, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please him, but if a sinner becomes wealthy, he gives it to the one who pleases him. So combined, it's in more than one place in the Bible, which should give it some more credibility that it's all aligned no matter where you look in the Bible. If you don't use what God has given you, he'll take it away and give it to somebody who did. And that does not mean everybody who is rich, who is filthy rich, is a godly person. That's not what that means. You can build up your wealth, but that's not, if you're not using it for the right reasons, if you didn't do it the proper way, like you built that wealth by taking advantage of people, you got filthy rich by doing that, God's going to take it away. And the truest level of wealth is being able to take care of people even when you're gone. That's generational wealth. And this is the fourth reason why I want to be filthy rich. It's not about the money, it's about what you can do with those things. I want to be filthy rich so I can take care of more people. I want to be filthy rich because nobody listens if you're broke. I also want to be filthy rich because our obligation, our biblical obligation, is to take what God has given us and to use it well. And the last thing is generational wealth. It's about being able to take care of people even when you're gone. That's how you know you're truly wealthy, when you're not even here and your legacy is still helping other people. That's the truest definition of wealth. And slight plug, if this is something you're interested in learning more about, this is what we help people do. So there is a free training video in the link down below if you want to go click it, or maybe it leads to another video, but either way, I think you should watch it. It's free, and if you want to learn more about it, go watch that video. But thank you for listening to my TED Talk today. I will see you in the next video. Bye.